Hello everyone, welcome to the next session of our SAP basis training. In this particular session, we will be discussing about event-based background job scheduling. So far what we have seen is scheduling the background job based on time, or scheduling the background job, let's say, or immediate, as well as we have seen the periodic job scheduling. Now we will see the other type of job scheduling based on jobs which is successfully completed. That means nested jobs, which we can call as nested jobs. So once one job is completed, then you need to trigger the next jobs based on the completion. So it's called nested jobs. How we can define the nested jobs, that also we will see it here. Okay, so first we need to understand what is event based jobs. Event means there is some event which you can trigger, or it previously we gave some example as workflow can be an event. So you can trigger an event from a workflow, or you can also trigger these events from a program. Event is basically like a command which we can create in the SAP system. So you using this particular event name, you can trigger from your SAP system or your ABAP program. Then based on the event, it will schedule this job or it will execute these jobs. And these events also can be triggered from the external system, or these events also can be triggered from the operating system. We will see that in very detail. And the second one is after a predecessor job. So you have two different jobs. We can see here job 1 and job 2. So in order to run the job 2, you want to complete the job 1. So you have some business process. Based on the business process, job 1 needs to create some documents, let's say. So once that is completed, then you want to run another job based on some activity which is done here. So you have to make sure the job 1 is completed before you start the job 2. So we can have this kind of predecessor jobs, meaning to say the nested jobs. So once the job 1 is completed, then that it can be considered as an event. So once that is completed, then it will trigger the next job. Then you can also link to different jobs. So that is called the predecessor jobs. Okay, you can nest jobs like that. Third one is if the operation mode is switched on. Let's say when we schedule the background jobs, we have the operation mode, which we have seen it before. The night time we can have additional background job, for example. So you schedule a lot of jobs on the night time, but you want to make sure that particular time when this particular job is being triggered, you want that specific job to be triggered only in that operation mode. So you don't want to trigger before that, or if the operation mode is not on or not in that specific operation mode, then you don't want to trigger that. In that case, we can also define the job to a specific operation mode. Okay, so let's see in the system how we can trigger these jobs. Okay, first what we will see is we will see how we can create a program, how we can create a background job based on an event. Okay, for that what we need to do is first we need to create an event. So event is basically like a command. You can use this event in any program or any external commands. You can use this on any ABAP program or an external program. Okay, so to create an event, you need to go to transaction code SM64, SM64, 64, and here it will bring you to the event management, event administration screen. Here you can see the background events. You can see the standard events which is already provided by SAP. You can see some of the events which is For example, import, start and stop. These are all events which will be triggered from the operating system level. Okay, to start the import, for example, this TP command, because the import is works based on the TP program which is running in the operating system. So that interface between the TP in the operating system and the SAP is triggered based on some events, these kind of events. So this is a standard SAP event, so we don't modify this event, we can create our own events. Okay, let's, if you select here, create, then you can specify an event name. Okay, so the event name is basis background job 01. Okay, this is my event name, and you can also give some description. SAP basis background job. Okay, then I save this. If I go down and see, yeah, so we have created by customer. This is our event name. Okay, now we go and schedule a job. Okay, our event name is basis underscore bg underscore 01. That is our event name. Okay, now let's go to SM36. Let's create a job name, event background job 01, let's say, and let's go to the steps, and the job name which we used last time is, yeah, RSPFPAR, and select one of the variant. Let's say this is the variant which you want to use. Okay, now save this one, check this one and save. Okay, now we created a step for our job. Let's go back. Now that condition, we will go to the start condition where we need to define an event after an event. Okay, now select this. When you select this, you can see after an event. So now we will select the event. This is our event which we have created, basis underscore bg underscore 01. Select this. Don't give any parameters. You can also start the jobs with different parameters, meaning to say, let's say output of that particular program. You have a program which is running, it's a huge program, and you have different kind of jobs which needs to be run based on the output which you get from that particular program. In that cases, you will send the output with that parameter, then it will trigger that specific job. In our case, we will leave it blank. Save it. Let's say save. Now it says saved and the status released. Let's go back, go to SM37. Our job is, we cannot see our job. That's because this is an event based job which we did not select. So we need to select star, otherwise we will select our own event. Let's execute again. Now you can see the event log is come here. So it's quite important that you select the event controlled jobs when you are selecting in SM37. So right now we have the job which is created, which is based on an event. So until unless this particular event is triggered by a program or externally, by a program or manually, this job cannot be executed. So now let's see how do we trigger an event. I will create one more session. Maybe we'll keep it side by side. Okay, this is our job. Yeah. Now let's go to the transaction SM 64, and we go to our event which we have created, select that and go to trigger. This is to trigger an event. Execute. Here you can see the parameters. If let's say you define with the parameter, then you need to give the particular parameter for you to trigger that event. Okay. Then let's say trigger. Now the event is triggered. Now if I go back here and refresh, you can see the background job even underscore bg job is already completed. It started and completed. If I select the spool, it's the same job. Yeah, this is the spool which we have selected. Okay. So this is event based job. So you can trigger the job from this event. Okay. The next one what we are going to see is predecessor job. How we can use the predecessor jobs. Let's say we want to create two different programs, or what we will do is we will copy the existing program which we used right now. Let's use this program. Let's say copy as 02. We cannot see because we did not select the scheduled. Let's go back and select the scheduled. And now we can see 02. And I will also make one more copy which says 03. Okay, now we have two jobs, 02 and 03. So the job 03 should run once 02 is successfully completed. That is our objective. In our case, we are taking a simple program. It may not be the actual case. In the actual cases, you will have a bigger jobs with lot of inputs. Yeah. So right now we just saying how we can schedule the jobs. So let me copy this. No. So now you go to this particular job. Let's go to change. Here we need to say after a job. Okay, so this job 003 should run after a specific job. Okay, that job name is event underscore bg underscore job 2. Okay, this is the job, that is the predecessor job. So once the predecessor job is completed, then this job should start. Until unless it should not start. Let me say check. Does not exist. It says event job 02. Okay, so it's always better to check. Okay, now it's okay. Now save. Okay, now you can see the job 3 is changed, but you can see here the job 3 is disappeared. Okay, the reason is because the predecessor job also considered as a one event based job. Okay, so you need to go back and select star here, then execute. Now you can see the job 03 is available here. Okay, now this is a predecessor. 02 is a predecessor for 03. Okay, so if I execute 02, once that is completed, then it will execute 03. Okay, now the 02 is on scheduled mode because we just copied it. If I go to change, now it's on scheduled mode. If I go to start condition, I will say immediate and check, or let's say start condition, I will put a time now. Let's say 10, 35, 36. Already passed. 10, 36 or say 3700. Okay, now we have a time base scheduled for job 02, and after that job 03 should start after the job 02. So let's refresh and see. We have 1 minute to start the job. Since the jobs are quite small, and so it will be finishing quite fast. This is quite useful in terms of, let's say, you are doing some data migration, that kind of activity. This is quite useful. You wanted to finish one job, then you start the next job. In case of like month end closing, this kind of activity, this will come very useful. Now this is getting delayed. Okay, now that is finished. Okay, once job 2 is finished, then you can see the job 3 also got finished. Okay, this it quite fast. We couldn't really see that one because the duration of execution is very small, not even 1 second, so we couldn't really see that. So once job 2 is executed, then the job 3 also get executed after the job 2 is completed. Okay, if it's a bigger job, then we can see. Since it's quite small jobs, we cannot see it in real time. Okay, so this is predecessor jobs. Now let's see how do we schedule a job based on an operation mode. Okay, you go to SM36. Let's create one job. Start condition I will use just for example. When you go to start condition, you can see the operation mode here. Once you select the operation mode, then you can specify what operation mode you want to select. If you say select, you can see this is the operation mode which we have created before in our earlier trainings. Okay, so this particular job will run when this operation mode is selected. Okay, when the system is on this operation mode, then only this job will run. Okay, for example, if I go back some 50, now you can see now it is in day mode. Night mode we have more background work process. So if I say night, select night and check, say only in operation mode night it will execute. So if I go to SM37, I need to select the event. Okay, now you can see job 4 is waiting for the night mode. Okay, the operation mode night, when it comes switches to operation mode night, then it will start executing. So let's do one thing. Let's switch to a night operation mode. This we already know how to do this one. Let's go to RZ03. Go to RZ03. Now it is in day mode. I go to control switch operation mode all server. It looks like it's already changed. Let's say /SM50. Let's go /N SM slash n or is at 03. Choose operation mode, night mode. And now we wanted to switch to the night mode. Go to control, operation mode, switch. We want to switch to night mode. Yes. Okay, now if you go here and say refresh, it's already finished. Okay, now operation mode is night. If you go to slash n sm50, you can see more background jobs come here because we switched manually to night operation mode. So like this you can define based on operation mode. Okay, then let's go back to our presentation. So we have seen after event and predecessor and operation mode. Now let's see how do we trigger this event from an operating system. So far what we have seen is from the SAP system, inside the SAP system. So what happens is you don't trigger this manually. So what happens is you created this event. You will use this event in your program, in ABAP program. Let's say if you run this ABAP program, then you will have some validation. If this validation is valid, then you will say okay, execute this, trigger this event. You will execute that event. So based on the event, then it will execute this program and whatever it is related to that event. Okay, this is the way we can use the event to trigger some particular programs. Now let's see how do we trigger this event from the operating system level. So why do we need to do it in operating system level? Because you may have some another external program which is coming from a different software, or which is coming from a different environment, or it can be coming from the same SAP system, or but it's a different program, or it may be a remote system. From the remote system also you can trigger the this event. So let's say you have some program, same like what I give an example of this TP command. TP is a separate program, tp.exe, which will execute this transport, because these transports are like a raw files. So you need to execute from the operating system to start importing into the system. So this is again controlled by this event. So let's see how we can do this trigger from the operating system. We can use the existing event which we have created. So let's go to our SAP system. So let's go to SM37. Okay, let's take one of the, this is job, this one. Okay, this is an event based job. Let's copy this one. Okay, I'll make a copy and say 5, copy, go back, scheduled, let's change this one, change start condition, event basis BG01, that is our event name. Check, save. Okay, this is our event name, save it. Okay, now this is released. Now we are waiting the event to be started, okay, or event to be triggered. So let's trigger the event from the operating system level. For that we will call the remote. It's a remote desktop. So we are in the operating system now of this particular SAP system. Let's go to the operating system. Let me make this a little bit smaller. Okay, now to start an event in SAP from the operating system, we have a program called SAP event, that is SAP EVT. This is SAP event. So when you are executing the program, or an external program should run this command. Okay, then it will start this event inside the SAP event. Then you will specify the event name, that is event equal to, our event is SAP basis underscore bg underscore 01. That is basis underscore bg underscore 01 without space. Let's say if you create with space, then you need to put it in a quote, yeah, with a double quote, then this will accept, because inside SAP you can create the event with space also, but in OS you cannot use space, so you have to use the double quotes, so you have to be little careful there. Say name is that SID name, that is ECC. Then you have the host name, that is MS host equal to ECC demo. That means if using this event, let's say this SAP command, this, let's say if this SAP program is available in another system, then using this command you can trigger from a remote system. Okay, I will say, let me go back here. Okay, right now still in release mode, to the remote, say enter. Now it's trying to trigger the event. It's already triggered the event. If I go back to SAP and execute, now you can see this is completed. The 05 is completed because this event is now triggered from the operating system level. Okay, this is how we can trigger the SAP event from the operating system. Let's go to exit. Okay, with this we are coming to the end of this session. Thank you very much for listening. I will see you in the next session. Bye bye.